Hey, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my photo chats. So today, I want to talk about the making of young American Gothic. See, a friend of mine said, hey, do you want to go to the First Friday art show in North Boulder? And we can walk around. There's a lot of art galleries that are open in this little space, and a lot of people set up booths outside, and there's food trucks, and there's a couple of band stages, and they do it every first Friday. And I'm like, sure, that sounds good. And so we went, and I brought a Rolleiflex, and I'm walking around, and he goes inside of a gallery, and I go in with him, and I'm noticing the sunlight is beautiful. It's like 6:30 in the evening. It's getting to be low sun coming through the event, and it's beautiful, beautiful light. And I'm going, you know what? This is a wonderful place to be, and this is not the place to be inside the gallery. There's a time to be in the gallery, and that's after the sun sets. But right now, I need to be outside. And I said, I'm going to go outside while that sun is doing that, and I'll be back. And I walked around, I photographed some people in the different booths, and I met some people hanging out, and I photographed them. And the Rolleiflex was a great way to meet people, because people are always enamored by the look of that camera. And then I saw a dad, and he had two kids with him. And there was a wall with harsh sunlight coming across it, and it was a metal building. That's what those buildings up there are all about. It's a kind of an industrial area of gallery space. And I said to the dad, knowing I might get a no, I said, if your two kids would stand against that wall, I would photograph them with this old camera, and I would get you the picture. And he said, okay. And I handed him a card, and I asked the kids to go stand over by the wall. And as they were standing there, I wasn't looking for a big grinny smile. I wasn't looking for anything except for them to be themselves. And at one point, the boy adjusted his cap, and I photographed them. I only shot one frame. And I'm thinking, I'm going to shoot now because it's a gesture. And if I don't, they're going to stand there with no gesture. And I like gestures in photographs. I like hands in photographs. Looking at the photograph after the fact, it looks like his shadow is touching his sister's face or shoulder or something. And there's an interesting cross between what his hand is doing and what his shadow is doing with his sister. And they're just standing there. I think they have drinks in their hands, and the light is harsh. The father never contacted me. I never got them the photograph. And if they ever contact me, I will. But it's one of my favorite photographs I've made this year because it's just a simple portrait of children in America 2023. It reminds me of a young American Gothic. And those kids, they caught my attention because of the light on the building behind them. And I had nothing to lose by saying, hey, I'm a photographer. I have this old camera. If you kids would stand there, again, I'm just talking to people. I'm approaching them like, here's what I'm doing and here's my offer. And you can say no, and that's fine. It was completely okay to do it. It was completely agreeable. So it's one of those things where it's like, you get to make photos. You get to approach things and make things. I could see that photo before I even asked him. I saw the wall. I saw the sunlight coming across. I said, boy, if they just stood there, that would be a deal. So use what you have in front of you. Use opportunities. You see a great example of something that could work great. Reach out and say something. Ask somebody. The worst they can do is say no. A lot of times they won't say no. And if you go up and you create that photograph and they contact you, you can get them the photograph, and now that photograph becomes a part of their world. That photograph becomes something that you made that exists, and now it may exist in their family for generations because they like the fact that their kids were photographed. Those kids grow up, they have their own kids, they get copies of that photograph made because they want to have that time that that photographer came up to us and said, hey, can I take your picture? All right, that's today's photography talk. If you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support it, the Patreon. Thanks to all my supporters. I appreciate you all. I'll be back next time. We'll talk more photography. As always, here's the good light.